Well, I mean, when you're 8 movies into a horror franchise, I don't know why I was expecting an extremely high quality delivery from what was going on, but you know what? I found something a little bit fun with this one. So I'm going to review Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan. So I got this Scream Factory box set here that I love showing off with each of these videos. It's just one of my favorite pieces in my collection. It has some form of Jason, I believe, even though I haven't seen them all yet, from every movie represented in this box art in some form. So I'll show you guys. I'm not going to show the artwork for every single one of these every single time as I had originally planned to, but this is the artwork for Jason Takes Manhattan. As far as artwork is concerned, I actually really like this. This is probably one of my favorites. There's some pretty neat artwork in the set, but this one I just thought was really cool. So this movie takes place kind of in New York. Even though for the first half it takes place on a boat, which I guess New York waters, I guess technically speaking, or not. It's not like, I don't remember if it was deliberately said that they are too far away from New York waters or not. But basically, the first half of the movie takes place on a boat. The second half is in New York. So the concept of Jason Voorhees on a boat is just kind of interesting. I found that aspect fascinating because that is new. It is an original idea this far into the franchise, which is sort of what you have to do this far along in a long-running franchise such as Friday the 13th. So I was definitely intrigued by the idea and the story that they were going for. The only thing I wish they would have done differently, which was unfortunately a problem from the start, is Jason Voorhees is brought back to life by way of electricity. And it wasn't even in this sort of ritualistic way as one of the previous films. It's just, he's just caught, his corpse underwater is just, it gets caught in electricity, and so that brings him back to life. So it's just sort of ironic that if I had a nickel for every time Jason Voorhees was brought back to life by lightning, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. And it was not technically brought back to life a third time, but he was electrocuted twice in this movie. So it's almost like it's almost a running joke, I believe, at this point, just to have him electrocuted for the sake of it, I suppose. So as far as the kills are concerned in this movie, I just found them very extremely tame compared to the earlier entries in this franchise. I thought that a majority of the other movies, even the ones that I know are toward the bottom of some people's lists in their ranking, I felt like the kills were a little bit more creative. They're more violent, and they were just less tame altogether. There's one scene where this girl is in this hiding spot, and Jason Voorhees finds her, and she's just screaming, don't kill me, over and over and over, but makes absolutely no effort of any kind whatsoever to even move or move to the side or anything. Jason Voorhees is standing here with this pole. He's about to just poke into her, and all she can do is just say the same thing over and over again without moving an inch. Now, I get it. Some people, if they're traumatized enough, they'll freeze. I get it. That's technically a response. But we're 8 movies in by a villain who's been brought back to life more than once. We don't need to have every single aspect of the movie in some extremely believable way. We could have had the person move, have a little bit of a chase or something. I just thought the idea of someone standing there was just, I don't know. I think it's almost recency bias because it reminded me of The Strangers Chapter 3, which was an abysmal film. So I think that just sort of, once I started comparing this movie to that, it was downhill for me. But that kill aside, because that is how he kills her. He's watching her, she's screaming, he's just like, and then that's it. And that's how a lot of the kills are. There's a scene where he takes this knife and just cuts this guy's throat, and it's just like this. The guy doesn't really react. He's just like, Jason Voorhees is just standing there. It's just, I suppose, a majority of the kills in this movie were so anticlimactic that they're almost a blink and you miss it. I mean, the music a lot of times isn't even ramped up. If you're one of those people that's just on their phone sometimes watching a movie, but when the music picks up, you can tell something's happening or something's going on or voices are getting louder. And this movie is not the case. If you're just on your phone for certain parts, you'll miss stuff because it's not. It didn't grab my attention in the way that, like I said, most of the earlier films in this franchise has done. So overall, I found the concept of him stalking and killing people on the boat was intriguing. I thought the idea of him in Manhattan is kind of interesting. Of course, with a recency bias, when you're someone like me who didn't watch these when they released, when you're going back playing catch up with classic movies and you just compare it to new stuff, that's just what you do. So the idea of Jason Voorhees in Manhattan or in New York, I was comparing it in my head to Scream 6, where how many different, standout locations will there be? Will there be Jason Voorhees going literally down the streets of New York attacking people? So it's not fair to make that kind of comparison. It's just what happens when you're someone like me who watches classic movies long after they're released. But the comparison aside, I thought that what they did, having Jason Voorhees in New York, I thought it was interesting for the most part. It felt like it did pick up a little bit once he got into the city, and these characters are no longer on the boat anymore. I felt like everything did pick up a little bit. The kills got a little bit more violent. There were more stakes. There were more chase scenes. The second half reminded me of the earlier installments much more than the first half did. So all said and done, the first half was interesting. It just wasn't exciting. So this is by far, I wouldn't say this is the lowest ranked entry in my opinion. I definitely think this is just somewhere near the middle. It definitely wasn't one of the more exciting ones. But if you're like me and you're a completionist and you're just trying to get through all of the Friday the 13th movies for the sake of saying you've seen them all, like it mostly is for me, I am finding something to enjoy from each of them. But if I wasn't a completionist, I don't know how much desire I would have had to finish this franchise at this point in time. But because I am a completionist, I am going to see the rest. And I don't have very many left. You have, I'm looking at them all here. You have Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and then the one from 2009, which I have already seen. But for the sake of reviewing all of them as a franchise, I'm probably going to end up rewatching it anyway. So that's my take on this one. I thought it had its intriguing elements, and I like the ideas implemented. I just wish the execution could have been a little bit more in the style of the kills and the violence and all of that you think of with standard horror movies. So I just wish those ideas were more severe. But for what it is, for a movie that's the 8th installment in this franchise, I don't think it was bad for an 8th installment by any means. So, like I said, I was still able to find elements of it to enjoy. Hopefully some of you guys will too, and if not, let me know in the comments what you didn't like about it, because I'm interested to hear what people have to say about these further installments. Everyone talks about the first 3 being in different order their favorites. I just don't personally hear a lot about the later installments, so I'm very much interested in hearing what people have to say about them. So thanks for watching, keep it digging, until next time.